Just 5 months ago, US President Donald Trump had stated that ISIS had been defeated. But in a Pentagon report released earlier this week, it appears that ISIS is regrouping and they're looking to strike back. This report tells you more.
We've been fighting for a long time in Syria. I've been president for almost 2 years, and we've really stepped it up. And we have won against ISIS. We've beaten them, and we've beaten them badly. We've taken back the land, and now it's time for our troops to come back home. I get very saddened when I have to write letters or call parents or wives or husbands of soldiers who have been killed fighting for our country. It's a great honor. We cherish them, but it's heartbreaking. There's no question about it. It's heartbreaking. Now we've won. It's time to come back.
With this comment in December 2018, Donald Trump declared victory over the ISIS. Getting troops back home from the theaters of war in the Middle East was one of Trump's key campaign promises. There were over 2,000 US troops on the ground in Syria. Trump had brought that down to just over a couple of hundred in advisory roles. And by March 2019, he even flaunted that the ISIS was not just defeated, but had been wiped off the map.
We're in Syria. We're leaving 200 people there and 200 people in another place in Syria, closer to Israel, for a period of time. I brought this out for you because this is a map of everything in the red. This was on election night in 2016. Everything red is ISIS. When I took it over, it was a mess. Now, on the bottom, that's the exact same. There is no red. In fact, there's actually a tiny spot which will be gone by tonight.
But in a report published this week by the Pentagon, ISIS, which according to President Trump had been wiped off the map, is regrouping and making a comeback. The Pentagon report states, and I quote, "Despite losing its territorial caliphate, the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria solidified its insurgent capabilities in Iraq and was resurging in Syria." So what's gone wrong? And how much of a threat does the ISIS now present? In the Pentagon Inspector General's report titled Operation Inherent Resolve, the key reason cited was the premature withdrawal of US troops.
Now it's time for our troops to come back home.
This had left the US allies in Syria without enough backing and direction, providing ISIS the opportunity to resurge. The Pentagon report, though, does not provide details about the extent to which the ISIS has been able to regroup. Tanya Joya was once known as the First Lady of ISIS. She is the former wife of the highest-ranking American member of the ISIS, but has now settled down in Texas. She weighs in on why it's so hard to dismantle the ISIS.
They have been dismantled, but they can regroup, and they have a plan for that. They're not going to stop their agenda, and they are just waiting to regroup. I know that they've always been quite dominant in in the Philippines, and they're growing in Afghanistan, but I don't really know much about them anywhere else. I'm not sure if they're growing in India.
At the height of its power in 2014, the Islamic State ruled over a territory roughly the size of Great Britain. Spread over Iraq and Syria, it unleashed a reign of terror over its inhabitants, which has been unrivaled. And the Pentagon's report is a stark reminder that the ISIS, though down, is not completely out. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.